Frank Matthews wasn't your average criminal. Born in North Carolina, he made his way to the streets of New York and quickly became one of the most powerful drug traffickers in America. They called him Black Caesar, a name that commanded both fear and respect. His operation? A multi-million-dollar empire, moving drugs across the country. His connections? The Italian mafia, Cuban drug lords, and the most ruthless gangsters of the era. But unlike his rivals, Matthews wasn't just about power. He was about style. Charismatic, sharp-dressed, and always one step ahead of the law. December 20th, 1972, Las Vegas. Matthews is arrested while preparing to fly to Los Angeles for the Super Bowl. His charges? Possession of 15 kilos of cocaine worth a staggering $3.6 million on the streets. He's extradited to New York and granted bail, despite prosecutors calling him the biggest drug trafficker in the country. It was a mistake that would come back to haunt them. Matthews' bail was set at $325,000, a mere drop in the ocean for a man allegedly stashing $1 million a month. The authorities were nervous. They had no way of keeping tabs on him, and Matthews knew it. Prosecutor Ray Deary remembers Matthews walking into court like he owned the place, smiling, flirting, confident. When Matthews asked Deary if he would get life in prison, the prosecutor jokingly replied, "It's very possible, Frank, very possible." But for Matthews, it was no joke. If convicted, Matthews faced the dreaded Section 848 of the Controlled Substances Act, a law that could mean spending the rest of his life behind bars. And that's when it happened. July 2nd, 1973, his court date arrives. The judge waits, the prosecutors wait, the press waits, but Frank Matthews gone. The hunt begins. The DEA, the U.S. Marshals, and law enforcement agencies across the country launch an all-out search. The assumption? Matthews wouldn't get far. After all, law enforcement always gets their man, right? Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. Rumors swirl. Matthews was spotted in Africa, then in South America, then in the Caribbean. But every lead goes cold. His mistress, Cheryl Denise Brown, disappears with him. No bodies, no fingerprints, no witnesses. Frank Matthews had done the impossible, vanished without a trace. Decades pass. The case fades from public memory. New law enforcement officers replace the old ones, and Matthews becomes a legend. Some say he's dead, others believe he's living out his days in a country with no extradition. But one thing is certain, Frank Matthews pulled off the greatest disappearing act in organized crime history. Was he a criminal mastermind? A man who planned his escape for months? Or just incredibly lucky? One thing's for sure, the legend of Frank Matthews lives on.